How's it going, all my handsome fellas tuning in? Hope every single one of you are having an awesome day. In today's video, I hope to be the first guy to show you all in one video 3 different styles and hairstyling techniques to achieve a classic messy fringe or textured fringe hairstyle. It is by far my most suited hairstyle of all time. If you have Asian hair, thinning hair, a big forehead, a receding hairline, or you're just looking for a natural edgy hairstyle, the messy fringe should be in your style arsenal. Now, I've watched many messy fringe hairstyle tutorials to date. Almost every single one of them put way too much emphasis on just rubbing that clay all over your goddamn head with little to no sense about structure, balance, and technique as they're doing it. And they also don't tell you what your hair should look like before even getting started on this hairstyle. The most important thing for any hairstyle is your base haircut. Just because the messy fringe is a messy hairstyle does not mean there is a messy process in achieving it. Make sure you go to your barber or stylist to get those sides faded or trimmed up to create nice textures and layers off top, and to make sure you thin your hair out just a little bit. Because if you do not have those 3 components, your hairstyle is going to look like absolute crap, and you're going to have a tough time achieving those messy textures, which is the golden component of this hairstyle. So if you have those things patted down, let's hop into this video. Make sure you have a clay with a nice matte finish to it. So our first texturizing technique is actually a method I've already shown in one of my previous hairstyle tutorials for thinning hair, but if you're new to the channel, I'll walk you through this a couple of times because this is the golden styling method I learned from my barber, which I like to call the hair scrunching technique. So after your hair is washed and dried to its natural state, you're going to literally apply the clay by grabbing and scrunching your hair on every top section of your head. This includes anything right above the fringe, the crown area, and those sections with the most layers of hair to work with. You'll notice right away and after a bit of practice that this scrunching method will give you a lot of great wavy texture and that balanced volume for a great texture fringe hairstyle. Here's a second attempt to get you familiar with the whole scrunching action, and keep note, I do not play with any parts of my front fringe. Unless your own fringe is super thick, do not touch it because it can potentially make it look really thin and crusty, so just really let the textures above define this hairstyle. After I'm done scrunching, I finish it off by settling the volume down and picking my hair to get the finishing sharp layers. There are no specific rules, but really focus on angular textures and angular finishes when you're picking and rubbing your hair. The angular layers you create and this technique overall will really stand out for guys with more wavy and curly hair at a manageable medium length. Remember, this wavy textured hairstyle must have sides that has not yet grown out too much for a good looking result, because since it is a messy hairstyle, you do not necessarily want to be messy all around, so by adding some clean fade, it'll bring that balanced contrast for a sharp finishing hairstyle. Now, our second technique is strictly going to be a styling method, but will give you guys more freedom in the final result. It's really for those with thick or heavy hair or just struggling to get any solid texture. Instead of rubbing that clay cluelessly, try the pull back and push forward method, which I learned from the Regal Gentleman YouTube channel. Here, you're simply going to apply the clay by consistently pulling and pushing hair back and forth on every layer possible, deep into your roots. If you have a thick fringe, I really want you to apply this action here as well, because a heavy fringe with texture character looks way better than being dead flat. But the real beauty of this technique comes down to not volume, but is unlocking textures from the vast layers of heavy hair you already have. Here's another example with a different result, and I just keep pulling and pushing until I get that baseline for the finish at the very end. Let me call out, my fringe and hair isn't that thick, so my results will not look the best, but what I really want to share is another way of forcing texture from the lack of it and getting the slight volume to complement it. This method is all about getting the defined layers and to self-discovering the finishing touches that suit you. You can rub your hair pieces together or pick your hair for more sharp texture, but like I said before, just find those angular finishes. As well, add style to your thick fringe, especially if you have thick hair. You can leave it resting at the front all texturized, swept to the side, or even slicked up for a less front heavy look. There are no specific results with your fringe or how the hairstyle is textured overall, but I recommend just going with your natural hair parting direction, either to the front or to the side like myself. If the scrunching isn't doing you justice, give this method a try and you just might discover a hairstyle that suits you. Now, into our third and final style is for guys that already have their version of a great haircut. Guys with a lot of natural texture and volume and just want to keep it laid back. And what I mean is we can avoid the extra messy and volume of the last 2 methods and just put focus on enhancing and displaying the texture layers we already got at the barbershop. This technique is very simple and straightforward, which I like to call the proper rubbing technique. Instead of using your entire palm, we really focus on using a couple fingers, gently rubbing the clay into the roots of our hair for that natural natural texture and just slicking some of those layers in their natural direction. Use your palm only at the crown area, and as you keep rubbing left and right, you start to notice that sleek shine and texture on your hair, and that is all you need. The end result of this hairstyle and the finishing touches will be similar to my heavy scrunching one, but if you look closely, it is a more laid back, straight wavy look depending on your hair. I'm doing nothing aggressive at all, no forced volume, just a little texture there and there. Although I cannot display here, my key rule for texture hairstyles is for short sides, go for more volume and aggressive texture, with long sides, go for more gentle texture. If you're like myself, my side hairs tend to grow outwards and look messy, so think of transitioning to this technique for a more balanced look. This overall is way more simple than rubbing that clay all over your head like a monster. See which works best for you, but remember, it's all about adding character to those layers and making them noticeable, and this gentle rubbing technique, I believe, is something worth trying out. And there you have it, gentlemen. Those are my 3 styles and techniques to achieve a classic messy fringe hairstyle. Really hope I was able to shed some light, just giving you guys some clear methods and insights on how to actually achieve this hairstyle. If you enjoyed this video and it was even helpful at all, please give it a like and subscribe, and I hope to see every single one of you in my next hairstyle video.